Now this is a subject near and dear to my heart, Mark, because I am one of these awful people who panics about overhead bin space. What has Scott found about this trend?
Well, in the past 3 years or so, it's become fairly universal to have checked bag fees. And so passengers, to avoid these fees and for convenience sake are, coming up with every sort of way they can to game the system,
right.
whether that be loading their kids down or, calling a purse a giant duffel bag.
Look at my big man purse.
Yeah, exactly.
I saw you doing
my
that.
personal item.
Yeah, is that right?
And I mean, you've seen it yourself too.
Yeah.
At the gate, everyone's kind of eyeing each other up, and it's jockeying for position. Some people will jump zones to try to get the choice space in the front, even if they're sitting all the way in the back, and which I'm sure you may have done.
No, I've never done that.
No,
and so what are the airlines doing? I mean, it's getting to the point where again, there's just this mad rush. Half the bags, as you're saying, they don't fit anymore. I mean, even if they're supposed to be an overhead bin bag, a lot of them they have these handles that stick out. They don't work, and as you're saying, the kids are bringing them on. Are the airlines going to start charging? Are they cracking down? What are they doing?
Well, there's a range of things from fairly easygoing to more draconian. Some of it, a lot of people are gate checking now, and so they've had to bulk up their systems and the policing of the gate area to sort of get people to gate check. And now they're trying to deter people from gate checking so much too.
Because that's a pain and takes a lot of manpower.
It is a pain, and you get a clump of people, like when everyone's trying to get off and get into the airport after you're deplaning, a clump of people waiting for their bags. And so they are, so there's policing of the area. I mean, and they also use this time too to try to sell you more stuff, like an affiliated credit card or something like that.
I heard that.
Too.
I heard those announcements. Why don't they just charge us for bringing on these bags to put in the overhead bins?
It's coming.
Airlines,
it's
coming.
Spirit Airlines charges charges up to $40 for an overhead bin.
You said Spirit?
Yeah, Spirit, and that's actually more than the regular checked bag fees, because they want to encourage people to really check their bags. Right. And so if you've got a real personal item and you can fit it under your seat, fine. But if you want to put something up in the overhead, it could cost you up to $40.
Up to $40. Now, are they the only airlines so far we're seeing charging, or do you think Scott's reporting sort of show that there may be more in line?
I believe they're the only ones so far. The other ones haven't said that they're going to charge, I don't think, but they're doing various things to try to discourage people from overloading the bins and
line up. Now, does it help at all if you have, if you're one of these people who has this sort of preferred boarding status? I mean, you obviously then can get on the plane first, and I think this sort of lends itself to the panic, right? You have all these people who are boarding. It seems like there's a million pre-boards, right? It used to be just people with children. Then it became, first class. Now it's like gold, silver tier, purple, green, yellow tier, and then finally you get to the rest of the folks.
Sure, and you can find people that are trying to jump a tier or claim that they need the extra time, especially people that do need the time are milking it and using it to put their stuff right where they want to put it, and there are different ways that they're trying to break up the way people get onto the plane. But people are trying to figure out ways to
sneak around it.
Yeah.
Any sense, as to whether people are also sort of trying to drive more of their bags on the plane, just because going to the airport is such a pain in general now? I mean, you have to spend all the time getting there early, and you've got to you take off your shoes and be scanned and be puffed on or what have you. And people want to, when they finally get to their destination, they just want to move on. Is this one of the factors at play, you think, Mark?
I would think so. I mean, I've always been a carry-on person, so it upsets me a little bit to see everybody else cottoning on to this.
Right?
Yeah, so I mean, I always avoided checking my bags. But yeah, I think there's no question. I mean, everything takes a lot longer. It's already a fairly unpleasant experience, and why prolong it by dealing with checking and paying the check baggage fees, which are pretty much universal now. So it's compounded to really drive people into carrying on. And so, it's becoming a mess.
Yeah, and these baggage checking fees, I mean, they're usually like $25 for a first bag, $35 for a second bag, something like that.
Yeah, it ranges along those lines. But, as we've seen with Spirit, the charges for the carry-ons could come in even higher. So.
Yeah. All right.
Okay.
Mark Long, thanks so much for being with us.